Я Chrystyna Zavada.
So greetings to everyone. My name is Chrystyna Zavada. I am a certified agricultural advisor and in judicial issues. I work in the agricultural advisory committee center. I would like to talk a bit more about our center. Can you see this screen?
Так, віконечка, зараз віконечок ваших. О, так, видно.
Now we can see your screen. So just a few words about our advisory center. We provide advice, individual and group ones, on legislative issues, organizational issues, for farmers, including small and middle scale farmers. We provide trainings. We had, before the pandemic, we had quite big meetings for adults and for kids, but now we have switched to online mode. Our center provides or organizes agricultural trips to different farms in Ukraine and abroad. We organize touristic agricultural trips, and we also organize workshops for kids. These workshops describe how to produce how to produce food. Our advisory center also has a small plot, 2 hectares, the size of 2 hectares, and we can see, and everybody can see and learn how to farm. Now I will say a few words about our farmers cooperative that we created recently, and our advisory center helped with all the documentation and legal issues and work issues. So this cooperative has 30 farmers from one region, from Lviv region, and we plan to expand. We have our online shop of farmers' products, where people from the region can buy our products and learn more about our farmers. And they can even talk to producers directly. We began delivery in the biggest city, Lviv, and we plan to expand to the whole region. We participate in markets. During this summer, we participated in a very big fair in the city of Lviv, and consumers were very happy about such an event, and very happy to communicate with the producers and to taste the product. And it reflected in our profits and demand for our products. So this communication is very efficient, and it's very close to the consumer, and it satisfies the demand. This cooperative also has a few sales places in the city. We also plan to have drive-out sales places according to some schedule where people in the region can buy our products. So this is a short description of our work. So this is an agricultural cooperative, which is one of the organizational forms for CSA in Ukraine. So
сільськогосподарського фермерства і його
I will talk about
об'єднання, які представлені нам законодавством України.
cooperative farming and opportunities to do that according to Ukrainian legislation.
Перевіряю зв'язок, тому що можливо якісь бути збої з інтернет-з'єднанням. Отже, якщо говорити про солідарне фермерство України, то
CSA in Ukraine has two forms. So first one is agricultural cooperative, and the second form is agricultural cooperative association. So agricultural cooperative includes physical persons and judicial persons who produce food. And agricultural association is a bigger organization. It includes agricultural cooperatives in its structure, and its activity directed more to organizational goals. So they defend rights of the producers and small and middle scale farmers, and they provide recommendations for the legislation which concerns the food producers. So I'll talk a bit more in detail about what agricultural cooperatives exist there. So they can be profit-oriented organizations. It's similar to so these cooperatives are oriented towards profit. Farmers and producers cooperate and not only sell their products, but also can receive profit in the form of dividends. The other way of doing cooperative farming is a non-profit farming or cooperation. And it should meet certain requirements as laid in the legislation, Ukrainian legislation. It's very important to distinguish these two types of organizations. So I will provide details about each form of the organization. I'll just talk in general traits that belong to both types of organizations. So non-profit organizations, cooperatives, they don't receive, they don't sell food outside. They only can use the food that is produced within the organization, while the profit-oriented cooperative can sell their products to their members and to other subjects who require their services. So they have a wider sphere of activities. But profit-oriented organizations, they pay a certain amount of taxes. The other difference is that non-profit cooperatives that the products that is produced in the in a non-profit cooperative does not belong to this cooperative.
Сільськогосподарському кооперативі фермерська родина працюємо по договорах доручення.
So you can take these products according to agreements specific agreements between producer and consumer, and all the profits go to the farmer who then in turn pays a certain amount to the cooperative for services. There are also certain requirements according to the Ukrainian tax codex. So you have to follow this tax legislation when you're running a non-profit organization. And the final distinction for a non-profit cooperative is that the participants, they can only be members of the cooperative. In a profit-oriented cooperative, non-profit-oriented cooperative can have members and associated members, so they have more participants in general. And these associated members also has an opportunity to receive dividends from the work of the cooperative, even if they don't work directly in the cooperative, but just provide some fees and support the development in some other way of the cooperative.
В наступному слайді вказано
Here I'm going to talk about the conditions for becoming a non-profit cooperative. What are the specific requirements for meeting that standard? So there is a certain procedure for registration of the cooperative, and it's quite simple. So in order to become a cooperative, we have to start the meeting, the constituent meeting of all the participants that want to participate in the cooperative. This has to be documented, and this constituent meeting is aimed at identifying what type of cooperative we want to become. Is it profit-oriented or non-profit-oriented? If we are a profit-oriented organization, we have to choose the tax system. We have to identify the name of the cooperative. And we have to identify the founders of the cooperative. In the beginning, we can choose a minimum of 3 people who can be just physical persons. After that, we can invite more participants.
Христина, я перепрошую, можливо, ще хвилиночка і до питань вже будемо.
We have 1 minute left, and then we'll have time for questions. So we have these documents that are necessary for establishing the cooperative. With this package of documents, we go to the institution, the state institution, and we request the official registration of our cooperative. Next couple of slides are talking about the necessary documentation, the documentation that is necessary for establishing the cooperative, and you can use it later for preparing the documentation for registration of your cooperative. And it has quite detailed information about that. Thank you.
Яка організаційна правова форма первинної ланки кооперативу, тобто його учасників?
There is a question: is what is the official legislative form of your cooperative?
Можуть бути фізична особа-виробник, тобто маленький сімейний
Who can be participants of the cooperative?
яка виробляє сільськогосподарську
So the most minimal requirement is the person who produces food.
Це може бути ФОП,
It
фізична особа
it can be a physical person,
юридична особа.
or it can be a legal person,
То і
or it can be a farmer's a farm, or any other
ці суб'єкти
forms of organizations of production.
виробляти або
The main requirement is that they have to produce food,
Дякую.
produce food or other agricultural products.
Отримувати гранти і гроші для розвитку.
The next question is, can non-profit cooperative receive grants and other costs for their development? Yes, they can receive international support, support from the local and state budgets, in any types of programs available.
розподіляються і заходять ті кошти. І ті кошти обов'язково повинні бути використані за
So the
ці
state legislation identifies which costs can be used by such cooperative.
Учасником кооперативу.
Can subsistence farmer be a participant of cooperative? Yes, you can be a member of cooperative because you meet the main requirement. You produce agricultural products.
Її обліковують на рівні місцевому. Тобто це є сільська рада, об'єднана
Subsistence farming is usually a very small form of farming, and it's only registered at the local level, so like in a village council or a small town council.
Використовує саме ваш кооператив і як зрозуміти, чи є
The next question is, what certification do you have and in your cooperative? In our cooperative, every member has necessary certificates, global gap and the HASP system, and every member has this certification and works according to these standards. In order to see this documentation, you can ask the producer directly, or you can ask our cooperative where we have all this documentation.
Дякую, друзі. Дійсно, один з коментарів, що кооператив це кооператив.
One of the commentaries that the cooperative is a different form than community supported agriculture, and it's not the same thing. But cooperation is also part of this type of work, and many European CSAs work are based on the cooperatives. So that's why we invited Julia to talk about it, Chrystyna to talk about it.